Lord Krishna promised Arjuna on the battlefield. He said, I'll always be with you. I'm always here for you. I'll always take care of you. There's nothing to be afraid of. And when Lord Krishna gave that message to Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita was not spoken just for Arjuna. It was given as a message for all of us, a message to us for all time. God is there for us, taking care of us, holding us, providing for us. And when we realize that, then we can pull our hands out of the coconut. Then we can be free. Then we won't be trapped. Think about it for a minute. If you're eating dinner at home and your mother or your wife or your sister or your loved one is serving food to you, you can eat very calmly, very quietly, very aram se, because you know these chapatis are going to keep coming. Jab tak aap khate rahenge, the chapatis will keep coming. As long as you can eat, as long as you're hungry, and even beyond that, the chapatis will keep coming. Because you have faith. And yet, when we go out to a marriage, to a wedding, or to a buffet, or some fancy occasion, what do? We pile our plate full of food, way more than we can possibly eat, because the fear is, what if it runs out? What if this dish that looks like I'm going to like it, what if it's gone by the time I come back for seconds? तो फिर क्या होगा? तो शुरू से हम इतनी लेते हैं, इतनी डाल देते हैं प्लेट के ऊपर, that we know कभी खा नहीं पाऊंगे इतनी. There's no way we can eat that much food. But we hoard because there's no faith. Because we're not sure, will there be enough when I go back? So we have to hoard it now. When we're eating at home, we have faith. We know mom is there to take care of us, or whoever's serving us. We know कि जब तक खाते रहेंगे, chapati आ जाएगा. But outside that faith isn't there. So we have to hoard it. And in life, it's the same way. When we don't realize that God is there providing for us, when we don't realize that the Divine Mother is feeding us, is holding us, is caring for us, then we have no choice. Then sab apne upar hai. We have to hoard, we have to grab, we have to grasp. And that's where the stress and the tension and the worry comes in. That's where we get trapped. But when we know God is there providing for us, when we're that connected, then we let go. And we let God. And of course, it doesn't mean that we're always going to get A's on our exams, or that every project we ever want will always be a success, or that we won't experience failure or illness or loss. Of course we will. That's part of human life. But when we experience these things in the lap of the divine, then there's nothing to worry about. Then we know it's just part of life. And God is always with us. I want to end with a beautiful story, a joke, a story of a man who goes to the doctor. And he says to the doctor, "Doctor, I don't know what's wrong with me, but everything hurts. Whatever I touch, it hurts. I touch my head and it hurts. I touch my back, it hurts. I touch my knee, it hurts. I touch my stomach, it hurts." Doctor's very surprised, because usually people come and they complain about one ailment, one illness. But this man, everything hurts. So the doctor runs every test and every scan, and at the end, he calls the man in and he says, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is there's nothing wrong with your back or your stomach or your knee. The bad news is your finger's broken. And because your finger is broken, whatever you touch, it hurts. But the problem is not in the shoulder, the back, the knee, the stomach. The problem is the finger that's broken. Wherever I put this finger, it's going to hurt. But as soon as I mend the finger, as soon as the finger gets put in a splint and it heals and the bone gets reconnected, then miraculously, the stomach stops hurting, the back stops hurting, the shoulder stops hurting. And it's the same way in our lives. We're going through life with this broken connection to the divine. And so everything seems to hurt. But we blame the traffic, the mortgage rates, the interest rates, our employers, our employees, our in-laws, the weather, whatever it is. It's always something outside of us that's creating this stress, this tension, this worry, this fear. But the real problem is this broken connection. And in the same way that when the man's finger gets fixed and healed, miraculously his body stops hurting. In the same way, when we reconnect with the divine, when we realize I'm being carried, I'm being held, when we realize that Bhagwan Krishna's message is not just for Arjuna, it's not just about a battlefield in Kurukshetra, but the message is for us. And it's about the battlefield of our life, the battlefield outside of us, and the battlefield with our own egos, our own anger, our own pain inside of us. When we realize that Bhagwan Krishna is driving that chariot, when that connection is remade, then miraculously, as we go through life, it stops hurting. It doesn't mean we never get a headache or a stomach ache. Doesn't mean that our in-laws or the mortgage rates or interest rates or inflation rates will do what we want. But going through life with a connection that's intact hurts a lot less than going through life with a broken connection. So the answer to the stress and the worry is not about managing it. It's about reuniting ourselves with that source that makes us go, like we slip into the lap of the divine. And then whatever he brings, success, failure, rates that go up or down, at least we don't go up or down with it. So we must just let go and let go.